Hey everybody, welcome back to another Oxygen tutorial. My name is Jonathan, and in this video we're going to be using the plugin MemberPress to create a premium content WordPress website. What that means is that the way we're going to set this site up allows for you to either require a free membership, you can also charge on a monthly or yearly basis, or you could charge a one-time fee for access to content on your site. You can use this in a wide range of scenarios. You can protect a particular post type, you could protect all pages on your site if you wanted some kind of gated content, like a premium forum, or maybe you have a very specific use case for a business of some kind. But we're going to be able to protect all types of pages, any type of content and post, and you can either require it to charge money, or of course it can be free. So what we'll do is be building a site in this particular case for a business and life coach. So this guy wants to sell premium content, but he also wants to offer free content as sort of a teaser to get people to sign up. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate what that's going to look like here in just a second. But before we get started, I wanted to introduce myself. Like I said, my name is Jonathan, and I have a YouTube channel called PermaSlug. Everything you'll find on there is related to WordPress freelancing. So you'll find topics on WordPress website design, how to grow your business, get clients, and all that sort of thing. So I will look forward to seeing you guys there, but let's go ahead and get started with the tutorial. Okay, so this is what the final result is going to look like. So I'm just going to break down what we're looking at on the page here. First of all, this is of course just the home page, and this is a simple little box just introducing our life coach, who I've named Mike Steele, and come up with a logo for him. The top part of the page, the interior section here, the inner content, and then the bottom are all set up using a pages template that was designed using Oxygen. So we have a couple different templates in play here. We have our all pages, we have our courses template, and then we also have one for our sign up form. I'm going to show you how to build all of these step by step, and we're going to start from the very beginning, and then you'll get to see the specifics and particulars of how you set all this stuff up. Now, these popular courses down here are our actual paid courses. So if you click on these, because I'm logged in as an admin, I can actually see the full description, the whole content, all of that. So this is what our course details page is going to look like. So it's going to have the full content. You can scroll down, and then there's a little bit more where you can click on some other options here. Our free resources are going to be pretty much the same thing. It's using the same course details template, except you don't necessarily have to be logged in as a member to view this content. This is public. This is supposed to be kind of a teaser bit, so that if you're not already subscribed to the website, you would be interested in signing up for some kind of access level here. If you were to visit one of the courses and you're not a logged in user, then what you see is you are not a member yet. Please sign up here. And then it also asks you to log in. So if you've already registered, of course, you just log in and it'll take you right to the content of the page. It'll redirect you to this particular post. You could also log into your account here, or you could sign up for an access level using these options here. That same menu is at the bottom of the site. We have a nice button and our social icons as well. So like I said, we're going to build this site from the ground up. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's my demo site. The only thing I've done so far is just go ahead and upload my media items, and then I also went ahead and added the plugins that we're going to use. So we only have a couple on the site. Of course, we're going to be designing our website using Oxygen. Our MemberPress plugin is going to be the one that protects the content, goes through the payment process for a new user, and the sign-up process. The custom post type we're going to create is going to be called Courses, and then our Contact Form 7 will just be a very basic contact form plugin for the site. So the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and create our custom post type. So if you just mouse over CPT UI and click on Add Edit Post Type, that's how we'll get started here. And like I said, our post type is going to be called courses. So this slug is just going to be courses like that. Then the plural label and the singular label will just be courses and course. Click on Add Post Type. And then we'll want to click on Edit here. Now, because we only have one post type created, courses is the one that's already selected. So what you're going to want to do is just a couple of things. Scroll all the way down the page until you find Has Archive, and you're going to set that to true. The Has Archive bit is really important because later on when we set up our Oxygen template for our courses, this is going to enable us to have almost like a directory. This is going to list all of our posts in this particular archive. So make sure that that is turned to true. And then there's a couple more things we need to do. Scroll a little bit further down, and under supports, go ahead and turn on excerpt, and if you feel like you want comments, go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to enable the categories and the tags as well. One other thing that you could do that I sometimes like to do is put a different menu icon here. So you can either upload one or you can use dash icon, and that would change this little pin to whatever it is that you actually want for the site. So you can see what I'm talking about here. The dash icon that I'm going to use is a little award pin looking thing. So I just type in dash icon awards. If you just Google search dash icon, it's kind of the WordPress built-in icon set. So if you search that, you'll be able to find the full list of them. But then as soon as I click on save now, what you'll see is my courses icon changes to a little badge, which is perfect. That's all I'm looking for in this particular case. Okay, so next up, let's go ahead and dig into MemberPress. So you'll see there's this big red banner after you install it that is saying it's not set up yet. So go to the options page, which is exactly what I'm going to do. And it's going to have me auto create these new pages. You can change this and choose a particular page if you want it to, but I'm okay with it all just being the default. So all that I have to do here is just click on update, and then it's going to automatically create my thank you account and my login pages, which is perfect. I'm totally okay with that. Then from here, you can see there's a couple of other options for unauthorized access. The main thing I'm going to do is change the default unauthorized message to something like, "You are not yet a member, please sign up here." I'm just going to change this URL to something like /register for the moment, which is not actually going to work, but just for the sake of this example, we'll come back and edit this, this unauthorized message later on. So we'll just click on update. Now from here, we're ready to go ahead and actually create the membership. So this is where we can choose what access levels we want to give people for what cost. So what I'm going to do here is create our membership. Our first one is just going to be a free membership. If you want to put in a description here, this will show up on the actual sign up page. So you could write in more kind of salesy content in this particular box here. As far as the price goes, of course, I'm just going to leave this at $0. The billing type I can't change because the price is still set to 0. So don't worry about that. We'll set up a membership here in just a minute that has a price and we can mess with the billing type. Under access, you could do lifetime expire or fixed expire. Most of the time, you're going to want to just choose regular expire because you can set, let's say, like a 14-day free trial. You can allow people to be on the site for a certain period of time for free if you would like to do that. But in this particular case, I'm just going to set this up to be free membership for lifetime. And that's really all that we need to do for this. There's a couple other options you can see. You can redirect people after a successful sign up, but all that I really am concerned about for the moment is just having a free membership. So we'll click on add there. And then the next one we'll do is, this one is going to be a monthly subscription. So if somebody wants to pay month to month, then we can offer that to them as well. So monthly subscription, and let's put the price at $19.99 a month. It's going to be a recurring charge. Interval is going to be monthly, and it looks like if you want to offer a trial period, you could do that. I'm not interested in doing a trial period, but we'll just go ahead and do publish. And now our monthly one is set up. And then the final one we're going to do is an annual subscription. So from here, we'll just go annual. Annual subscription, and our price on that is going to be $99. And so our billing type is going to be recurring. Interval we'll do every year, and that's perfect. You can see there's a lot of flexibility there, but I think in most cases you're probably going to do free, monthly, and I would assume annually or maybe lifetime if you wanted to do it. Maybe you could charge $249 for lifetime access forever. Now these URLs here are the actual sign up links, but you don't need to do anything with that just yet. I'll show you exactly how to create the sign up template using Oxygen and one shortcode, and that's it. So don't worry about anything to do with these URLs just yet. So now we're ready to move into our rules. The rules is actually where MemberPress starts to come into its own. This is where you configure the protected content that you want on the site. So what we're going to start off with is we're just going to change this title to all courses, something like that, so you can kind of know exactly what you're protecting here. And under your drop-down options, you can say all courses, for instance. You can see there's a ton of options here. You could say a single course. You can say, all pages except, you can say all posts, whatever you want. But in this particular case, we're going to do all courses, and our access conditions are going to be membership is equal to annual subscription, or our membership is equal to monthly subscription. I don't want to give people with a free membership access to our courses, and that's really all I want to do from here. So that's basically all I have to do is just click on Save Rule. So you could go through and change the protection types to a couple of different things. You could change it to all posts except, all courses except, etc. But in this particular case, what I would do is explain to my client that anything you put under the courses is going to require somebody to be logged in and have an existing subscription, whereas anything that you put under the post section is going to be free and publicly accessible. So I'd treat the posts as a blog that you would want anybody to see, and your courses are going to be your subscribers, and that's very simple. From here, there's a ton of other options, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're not going to really mess with that. Of course, you'd want to set up a payment processor and that kind of thing, but that can all be done in the options section and is very straightforward. If you go under options, there's probably a couple of things that you might want to mess with here. The password strength meter I would set to require medium or stronger passwords, that sort of thing. Of course, I don't want people to see the WordPress admin bar, so I'm going to leave that checked. This is all default settings, except of course what I just showed you that I changed here. And then I would enable members must use their email address for username. I like to keep that consistent. And then there's other things that you can do, like require extra fields during sign up. So you can require that in the actual sign-up process when somebody is subscribing to a particular membership level. And then you can also do all kinds of other marketing components, custom emails, and this is where you set up your payment processors. So you can see the options are very in-depth, and you could spend a bunch of time customizing this exactly as you need. So from here, what I'm going to do is add our first course, and then we're going to get into actually designing our Oxygen template. So I'm going to click on Add New. And then I have a couple of example topics that we'll cover for this particular life coach. So the first one is going to be how to live a stress-free life. And I do have a couple of images uploaded. So first of all, we're just going to find the one for our stress-free life, which is this girl standing up right here. I'm going to go ahead and categorize this, and this will just be personal, perhaps. We'll just call that one our personal category. And then earlier I mentioned that we wanted to turn on excerpt, so make sure that excerpt is checked under the screen options, and you can see that down here. Now we're ready to go ahead and get in our post content. I'll just copy and paste it from our example site, and then I'm just going to take this first paragraph here and paste that into the excerpt field. And that's really all I need to do for this particular course, so we'll just go ahead and click on Publish, and our first course is set up. So that one's very simple. We don't need to worry about editing with Oxygen on the actual course itself because we're actually going to create a template for our posts and our courses using Oxygen, which brings us to our next step, which is actually designing our site in Oxygen. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is set up a template that's going to apply to all of our pages. So I'm going to call this template All Pages. I need to click on Publish to then view the Oxygen options. Where does this template apply? We want it to apply to all of our pages, and then also go down to Other and click on Catch All, which is going to cover you for all of the MemberPress login, logout forms, and a couple other pages that we'll come across. And that way you have a header and footer, and the inner content is not stretched to the edges of the page. So make sure you click on Catch All, then scroll up and click Update, and then once it loads again, click on Edit with Oxygen. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is go into my settings. I'm going to change my font to something a little bit more interesting. We're going to use Nunito for both our display and our text font. And then I personally like to take the body text up to like 18 pixels, and the color is pretty much perfect. Font weight we'll change to 300. And then I want my headings to be font weight 500 by default. And then from there, I'll just click on Save. I'm a big proponent of saving frequently. And then we're going to start off by adding in under helpers. We're going to go to header builder, which is right here. And we're going to set up a relatively simple header. So we'll start off by adding an image, which is under basic. And this is going to be our logo image, which I have uploaded. And here we go, our Mike Steele Business and Life Coaching logo. Let's set the width to something like more in the neighborhood of 225, so it's not so huge. And then I'm also going to assign 15 pixels of padding all the way around. Which brings me to the next step, which is going to be adding in our menu. So now, if you go into WordPress and click on Menu, you'll see that it brings in just an example menu, which is totally fine for the time being. We will actually set up a real menu, and it will automatically update, so don't worry about that. Just go ahead and leave it as your example menu. And so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to take the menu and drag it into the center section of our header builder, which you can see once it loads. Now our menu is in the center section of the header, which is perfect. Let's do a little bit of styling here. I'm going to change the default text color to something more like black. And let's take our spacing up to more like 60 top and bottom, and that should stretch just about to the edges, maybe more like 70. And that stretches to the top and bottom edge of the actual header row container. As far as the hover and active color, the hover background I'm going to delete. Hover border, we're going to change to hover border bottom 1. And then our hover text color, let's change to this tan that matches our logo. And at the same time, we're also going to assign it as a global color by clicking here. And I think this color is called khaki, so I'm just going to call that khaki. So now you can see we have that hover border on the bottom, and there's our khaki color on the actual text link itself. So now what I'm going to do is go to our dropdown. I'm going to change the padding to 20 top and bottom. And you can see now that the links are a little bit closer together. The submenu still doesn't look great, so what we can do is actually go ahead and add in a selector. And our submenu class is called .sub-menu. And once you do that, then you can actually style the drop-down menu using the familiar Oxygen tools over here. So we'll just do this really simply. We're going to go in and add a border. We'll start off by doing it on the top, and it's going to be CCC solid 1. Except I want this to be much more opaque. So let's do maybe 30%. And then because I like to use that as a border for a lot of different things, we're going to assign this a global color, and we'll just call it light gray. So from there, it's kind of hard to see at the moment, but what we're going to do is add in a nice box shadow. So this, once again, is going to be the same kind of gray color. In fact, I'm going to probably bring this down to more like 15% opacity. And then our horizontal offset, let's do 2, vertical 2, maybe 5, 3, something like that. So nothing super intense, but just enough to give it some kind of delineation to lift it off the page. From here, what I'm going to do is add in some social icons, and these should be under helpers, social icons, and I want these to be on our right hand side of our menu here. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and click on use brand colors. Icon size, let's bring that down quite a bit, maybe more like 30 pixels. And let me make sure that's in the right-hand side of our menu, which it sure is. Then once again, like I said, I am a big fan of those kind of light gray borders. So on our header row here, I'm going to go border, bottom, and then our color, we're just going to use the global color. Width will just be 1, and then we're going to do that solid. So you can see there's a little bit of a border down there, which is great. One thing that I like to do as well is add kind of a thicker border on top of the header to give it a really nice look. So click on the header builder here, advanced borders, go top, and then I'm going to take my blue that matches the logo, kind of the dark blue color, assign that global real quick, call it dark slate, and then let's do something like 6 pixels on top, solid, and there you go. There's a nice border up top too, so that looks really good. Now from here, because I have my header done, what I'm going to do is actually make this a reusable component. And the reason why I want to do that is because I'm actually going to be creating 2 different templates. This is going to be for pages, and we're going to have a totally unique template that's going to apply to our posts and to our courses. And I don't want to have to design the header twice. So I'm going to make this reusable, and of course I'm just going to call it header. And then from here, what I'm going to do is add in a section. And then I'm going to add in our inner content. And I want our inner content inside of this section so that it doesn't stretch to the full width of the page. And then from here, I'll just scroll down to the bottom, and I'm going to add in a reusable component. A library component. We'll go to design sets. We'll go to atomic. And then I'm just going to find one of the pre-built footers. We'll just do something nice and simple, like this footer, simple 2-row is what it's called. And then from here, our logo, of course, we're going to switch out to our actual logo. Let's do this one here. And then we're going to change the height to more like 125. And I'm actually going to take the image out of this div here and delete that link wrapper. And delete the SoFly and the Oxygen copyright text. And I'm actually going to change the background color to my global color, that nice deep blue, like that. And then on my menu, I'm going to change the text color to something like our khaki. And then our hover color is going to be, let's just say, white, something like that. So yeah, that looks good. That's totally fine. And then social icons, once again, I'm a big fan of just using the brand colors. So something like that is perfect. That's all I'm after, so that looks really nice. And once again, I'm going to take this footer and I'm going to make it reusable so we can apply it to our other template as well. Now that we've made our header and our footer reusable, you'll notice that I'm not actually able to edit it in the screen. That's totally okay. Just go ahead and click Save. We're going to go back to WordPress to our admin panel, and what you'll notice in the Oxygen area under the templates option is that there's two more items in here than we created, our header and footer, and so you actually come into the Oxygen templates area and click on Edit, so that way you can edit your header and footer. Keep in mind the template we just made was called All Pages, and that one's going to apply to pages and our catch-all. So now what we're going to do is actually design our courses and our post template. So this one we'll just call Courses. That should make it really easy to understand. So just go ahead and leave Inherit Design from Template to None in this particular case. And then where does this template apply? Under Singular, we're going to go to Posts and Courses here, and then click Update and Edit with Oxygen. And then we'll go ahead and get our courses template designed. Okay, so now that our Oxygen Builder has loaded, you're probably going to be a little bit concerned by the fact that there's nothing in here, but that's no big deal. Keep in mind, of course, we are going to go to Add, and then under Reusable, start off with your header, click on Single, and then the header that we just completed designing a few moments ago is going to populate in nicely. So that's exactly what we're after. Now from here, I'm not going to add in our inner content element first. What I'm going to do is click on Add, and go to Section under Basics. And the first thing I'm going to do is change under Advanced and Background. I want the background image to populate from the post's featured image. So this should automatically work because we have our preview set to how to live a stress-free life. From here, what I'm going to do is change the size and spacing to maybe 35 viewport height, something like that. And under Background, I'm going to go to Fixed. So when we scroll, the photo is going to move up and down, which will look nice. As far as image overlay color, let's just do kind of a medium gray color, and we'll bring down the opacity some, maybe 35%. And in fact, let's go a little bit darker just to make sure that we can read our text. From here, go ahead and add in a heading element, and just double click on this so you can get to the Insert option. And just click on Post Title here. So that's going to automatically populate our title, which is exactly what we want. And then, of course, that's really hard to read, so we're going to change our text color to white. And what I'm going to do is from here increase the font size to maybe something more like 50. Font weight, something like 300, looks really clean and nice. I'm a big fan of that. And I want to go ahead and add in some text shadow. So go Effects, Text Shadow, and then just do something like 2D, and then you can go like 2 to 5. And that looks totally reasonable, has a nice clear shadow behind it, so it looks easy and clean on the eyes. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of margin underneath the heading, and then I'll add in a text element, which is going to contain our date. So just click on Insert Data, and then do Date, and this will be the published date. So you could change this to be kind of behind the actual date if you wanted to in the actual post itself. Once again, I'm going to change the text color on this one to white, and then let's do text shadow, something like 4D, a little bit brighter, and then go maybe like 113, something like that. I'm also going to center this, and that's perfect. So now we have this cool little hero image with our title of the post overlaid and our featured image as the background automatically, which is perfect. Now from here, I'm going to add in another section, and this section is going to have our actual post content. So add another text box. Double click in here, go Insert Data, and then choose Content, and that should automatically fill in the text content of our post. There it is. That's exactly what we're after, and that's perfect. So again, we're going to do one more section, and then this one is going to be an easy post under Helpers, and this particular section is going to show the rest of our posts that are in the courses category. So change the query type to custom, go to post type, and then post type is going to be courses. Click on apply, and it shouldn't change right now because we only have this one course added, which is fine. As we add more, they'll automatically populate in this particular easy post. Let's go ahead and change our template to something a little bit more interesting. So maybe the grid with the title overlay. That's perfect. That's really all I need at the moment. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and change the background color to this kind of lighter gray. That one looks perfect. We'll go ahead and add a border to the top. This time, let's go solid 1 pixel, and then our border is going to be our slate color. Maybe give it a little bit more delineation. Perhaps bring down the opacity. Maybe we could do that gray color a little bit more opacity, something like that. And then let's do save, and let's look at it on the front end real quick. So as you can see, our header is completely functional. We have our hero image with the title and the date overlay. Our post content is right here nicely in the middle. And then towards the bottom, we have the rest of our posts in this particular category. Now, of course, we don't have our footer, so let's go ahead and add that in. I'm going to click on Add, Reusable, and then we'll do Footer. And there it is. So let's go ahead and click Save. And I want to take a look on the front end one more time so we can see our footer added in as well. So there's the posts in the courses category. There's our footer, and that looks great. So I'm really happy with this. Let's return to the Oxygen editor here, and let's click back to admin. Okay, so now under Oxygen templates, we have just about all the Oxygen templates that we want set up and ready to go. The next one we're going to do is our actual registration template, and this is going to make it so you don't have to create individual pages for each of those registration links that I showed you early on. So click on Add New Template one more time, and we'll just call this one Registration. And then from here, click on Publish. This is only going to apply in one spot, so click on Singular, and choose Memberships, and then click on Update and Edit with Oxygen one more time. Okay, and as you can see, now that the editor has loaded under Previewing, Annual Subscription, Monthly, and Free are our options here. And once again, we're going to go Add, start off with Reusable, and we'll use our header. Then from here, what we'll do is go ahead and click Basic, and then add in a section. The first thing I'm going to do is add in a heading, which is going to be Insert Data. We're going to go to Post Title, and you can see this should add in the word Annual Subscription. That's perfect. And then after Annual Subscription, I'm going to add the word Sign Up. So then from here, it'll say Sign Up like that. And then let's go ahead and add, let's say 15 pixels of margin. And then we're going to add in a WordPress shortcode option here. First thing I'm going to do is change the size and spacing to width. Let's just do 100%. And then this shortcode here you'll find in the MemberPress documentation has an ID number in it, but you don't actually have to worry about that. And then the actual shortcode itself is going to be MEPR-membership registration form. And then normally you would have a registration field ID to input here, but you don't actually have to put in the ID. Most of the time you'd have a number in this ID section like that. But in this particular case, we're just going to go ID equals, and then blank, and then just close the bracket out like that. And what you'll see here is that it actually puts your shortcode for the registration form on the page itself. So instead of you going and designing 3 separate pages, or every time you add a new subscription, you having to go set up a new page, this is going to automatically do it. So now if we change to monthly subscription, for instance, then you can see the monthly subscription sign up is ready for you right here. So you can see the price, $20 a month is what we set up. And that's really all I need on this particular page. So we'll go ahead and add in our reusable footer. And now what we can do is take a look on the front end here. Perfect. That's exactly what we're after. Okay, so let's go ahead and return to the Oxygen Visual Editor. And what I want to do now is configure our home and our contact page. So let's go under Pages. And the first one I'm going to add is our home page. We'll just do Home, Publish, and then before we create our contact page, let's go under Contact Form 7 real quick. And we're going to just copy this shortcode. This is going to make our contact page extremely easy to set up. So click on Add New under Pages, and we'll just call this one Contact. Then you can actually just paste the shortcode right there in the content element of the page. And what that's going to do for you is automatically render the contact form on the front end. So let's take a look at that real quick. And as you can see, there is a fully functional, although basic, contact form ready for you right there. So that's super simple. And then from here, what we can do is go ahead and add our post elements to the home page. Before I do that, I'm going to add in a little bit more courses. Because I've already showed you guys how to create one course, I'm just going to go ahead and add the others. I'm going to add the posts as well. There's nothing special to that process. It's exactly the same as the courses. And then we're going to go ahead and set up the other front-end elements like our home page. Okay, so now I have our courses and our posts added. So what we're ready to do at this point is kind of set up our front end items here. So what we want to do at this point is go make one more Oxygen template, and this is actually going to be our courses archive. So go ahead and add in a new template, and this is going to be sort of the main listing of all of our courses. So go courses archive is what we're going to title this, and click on publish. Then from here, where does this template apply? Click Archive, choose Post Type, and then all the way at the bottom you'll find Courses. Click on Update, and that's what we want to do from there. Then Edit with Oxygen. Okay, so once again, click on Add, go to Reusable, click on Header and choose Single. And then from here, we're going to add in a section under Basic. Then we'll go to Add once again and choose Helper and click on Easy Posts. This one will do the similar grid with title overlay option. Click on OK. And then we can see because we're on the courses archive, there's nothing else that we have to do from here. Every time you add a course, it's automatically going to populate in this particular archive. So then click on Add. We'll do Reusable, Footer, Single, and there you go. Your entire archive page is completely done. So click on Save. And now what we'll do is click on Front End. And you can see your main website / courses is the archive page, and that's set up and ready to go. So let's go ahead and just click on a post here, and we'll kind of see the post itself and the front end as well. So what we've enabled is our website to be, the website URL to be /courses / the post title. And that looks really nice. So that's perfect. And there we go. There's more of the courses populated in the bottom there. So then at this point, let's go ahead and get our WordPress menu set up. So let's return to our Oxygen visual editor here and go back to the admin portal. And then what I'm ready to do at this point is go to Appearance and Menus. And we'll just call this Main Menu. The first thing you're going to want to do is go under Screen Options and make sure that Memberships, and if you want individual courses to be added to the main menu, go ahead and check those two options. And what you'll find is that there's two new drop downs in this area. The first thing I'm going to do is add in our homepage and contact. We'll also add in our account page. So we'll click Add to Menu. And then under Memberships, these are your subscription login links. So just click on Select All. And then what I'm going to do is create a custom link. We'll just use the # there. We'll call this Sign Up. And then under Sign Up, I'm going to go ahead and nest our options there. So just like that is perfect. Homepage will be first, contact will be last. And then let's go ahead and add in another custom link. This one URL will be /courses, and link text is going to be courses as well. And I'm going to take that courses and bump it up in front of the sign up. And what we'll find here is that the menu automatically updates on the front end. So there's our updated menu. As you can see, the drop-down text color and the hover text color aren't exactly what I'd be after. I'd probably do something just like a light black or dark gray, and then have the hover color be this khaki. So we'll change that at some point. But as you can see, now our menu is fully functional. We have our overlay title and our date here on top of our featured image. Our post content is nicely formatted, and our posts are down at the bottom here, along with our footer menu is also updated, which is fantastic. So what we can do here is just go ahead and design our home page. We'll just click on home real quick, and then we can just click edit page. And what I'm going to do here is just add in two easy post elements. One is going to be for our courses, and one's going to be for our posts. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and add in a section, and this is just going to be the little intro box that I showed you at the very beginning, introducing who this life coach is. So we're going to change this background color to our global color here. The text color, let's change to white, and let's add in some padding. Actually, there's 20 by default. We'll just do 25. The first thing we're going to want to do is add in a div here, and then add in a heading. This heading, let's just put who is Mike Steele, and then we're going to add in, let's say, 20 pixels of margin below that. We'll add in a text box, and he is an award-winning author, family man, and speaker. Perfect. That's all I really need from there. And then I want to add in a button, and this one is going to be just view books on Amazon, something to that effect. Let's add in some margin underneath that right there, and change the button color to our global khaki. Button hover color will be khaki with just a little bit darker, so you can see that change there. And that should be good for this. I'm going to actually set this div to center and then click in my section again. And I want to add in an image from here. We're going to change the image to this guy here. Yeah, him presenting. And this doesn't look all that great. I want the image to be over here on the right side. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the image. I'm going to change the width to something like 400 pixels and then click on the section and choose Child Element Layout Horizontal. Now you can achieve this layout because I've added all of this inside of one div. If I open my structure panel, it might make a bit more sense. What we have here is our section, which is set to stack horizontally, and then my div is just by default set to stack vertically. I went ahead and centered everything inside of that div. And then now I have my image as the other element. So the div and the image itself are stacked horizontally. But what I want to do is add some space between, and that way it pushes the image to the right side of the container. You could also set the div's width to something maybe like 45%, and then that way they kind of fit more nicely around each other, or you could modify the image width itself, something like that. You could kind of play with it a bit. We'll just leave it at 400, and maybe we'll add in some padding around this div, something like 25, kind of increase the spacing a bit, make it look all nice and neat. One thing you're going to want to do as well is also pay attention to the responsive settings here. So you can see less than 992, it starts to get pretty crammed, so let's go ahead and set this section to stack vertically. Then we want this div to be width 100%. Let's add some margin beneath that. So we'll just do 25 pixels of margin, and we'll set the image width to 100%. So that's perfect. Then if we go back to our full-size device, then it puts it exactly where we left it. All right, let's go ahead and add in one more section. I'm going to put a heading element in here, and we'll just call this Popular Courses. Add in 15 pixels of margin underneath that. Click on Add. Go to Helpers, Easy Posts, and first thing I'll do is change the styling to the grid with title overlay to kind of keep things consistent like we're doing. Then we're going to change the query, because as you can see, it's just pulling up the home page. We're going to change the query type to custom, go to post type, and then this is up to you, but I'm going to do the courses, because I would assume that my client will want the paid courses to be at the top. And then for my free courses, I'm basically going to do exactly the same thing, except I'm going to duplicate this section. Of course, I'm going to change this to something like free resources, and then I'm going to click on my easy post here, and I'm going to change the query from the post type of courses to just posts, and then click on apply query, and there you go. So there's the free resources from that point. So I'm going to click on save, and let's take a look on the front end. Okay, so here's our pretty much completed site in its full glory here. The other thing that I did real quick was just change the default text color on the drop-down menu to just like a dark black, and then the hover color is our khaki color to kind of match our logo and our branding here. But as you can see, our courses are populating properly, our free resources are as well. We have our course details template completely set up and functional. Don't forget to come back to your MemberPress options and change your default unauthorized message to redirect the visitor to whatever subscription you want. You could also set this link to be a page with all the subscription options and maybe a description of what you get with each one. Just for the sake of this example, I would rather redirect somebody to the monthly subscription. So let me open an incognito window and we'll take a look at what that would look like if you weren't a subscribed member. So as somebody who's not an admin user logged in or somebody with an existing subscription, you can browse the courses, but if you click on one, it's going to tell you that you don't have an active subscription and you have to sign up here. And that sign up link we just changed to our monthly subscription. So if somebody was interested, they would just click on that and it would take them straight to the monthly subscription sign up option. So as you can see, it's really straightforward. The template portion of the website, kind of setting up and designing the site, is by far the most time-consuming portion, but this is a really powerful way to be able to sell gated content to a broad range of clients. You can use this for your own tutorials, and there's all kinds of other use cases. Hopefully you guys found value in this tutorial, and if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. We'll be more than happy to answer them. Again, this website is designed using Oxygen, so feel free to use the link in the description below to learn more about Oxygen, and also visit my channel. Like I said, my name is Jonathan with Permaslug, and I will look forward to seeing you guys in a future video. Thank you so much.